Hello, YouTube. I thought I'd put together a short film and let you see how the hobby has overtaken my life. I probably am a sick man. Well, I live in a mobile home, so it's kind of a long house, and this is my bedroom at one end. Over here on my dresser, there are two airplanes. That is actually a non-flying model. It sits on a transistor radio, and the little plaque records my name and the date of my first solo flight in a full-scale plane. I am a private pilot, although I'm not active. That's a little kit-built Typhoon. It's a Hawker Hurricane, or no, it's a Typhoon. The Gillows kit. I made the box into a stand for it. There is a prop that goes with it. I turned it into an electric 3-channel by making the little mini servos in the back there connected to the tail. It actually got off the ground once. That was it. Crash landing and the end. Hanging from my ceiling, I have a Dynam Grand Cruiser, which of course is a Cessna 310, which Cessna won't let Dynam call it 310 because Dynam won't pay the royalties. It's a great flying plane, although I have had my troubles with it. Here in the corner I have built a little rack, and I have 5 of my smaller planes starting at the bottom. That's a GWS B-2 bomber electric ducted fan. On 3-cell LiPo it actually flies pretty well. Then a Dumas kit, which I built, and that also flies pretty well. That is probably an E-Flight or a Park Zone or one of those ARFs that Tower used to sell. They had a series of them, and that is one of my best flying planes, although it's currently in retirement. That there is a Thunder Tiger Mr. Mulligan. Flies okay once it gets off the ground. It's a little squirrely getting off the ground. Been sitting there so long that the surfaces are turning yellow. I don't know if that's dust or age. And the top model right there is a Her Aquastar, which I built from a kit, and it also flies pretty well. Hanging on the wall, that's a Maxford Antonov AN2. The wings are in another location, and that is it for my bedroom. So the bedroom has 8 flying and 1 non-flying for a total of 9 models. And we move from the bedroom into the hallway, which goes down towards the living area, and we find 2 fuselages hanging on the wall here. The first one, the red and black, is a Maxford Globe Swift, which is a very nice flying plane once you get it off the ground. It tends to go up on her nose, but it's got retractable gear, flaps, ailerons. They even reproduced the slotted wings on that airplane. And hanging alongside of it is a kit-built Tower Hobbies Super Sportster in the 25 size. The wings are elsewhere. On the ceiling there I have a wing for my Bright Star, that's the left one, and the blue one with the iron crosses is a Hangar 9 upper wing for a D7. And we're going to go directly into this side room here, which is actually a spare bedroom, but as you can see, it's been conscripted into hangar space. That's a Cub type model, which I bought off YouTube. I flew it exactly once after I built struts for it out of yardsticks. It flew well, except the motor blew the spark plug. I had to dead stick it, but not bad. There's a little foam job there, and the wings that you see behind it are a under construction Vailey Stinson L5. My little rocket box there. The wings for the Antonov. In the towels, those are wings for my 2 World War I giant scale biplanes. That there is my one of my rockets. It's actually a scissor wing transport. It's hanging up there. And it flies nicely. And way up on top there, that pile of foam you see, is a foam cub of a homemade design, which is under construction, which may or may not ever get done. Moving over the window, we have a Nexus helicopter, which runs, but I don't know, saying it flies, we might be stretching it. And underneath that gigantic tail there belongs to a full-size mud duck. The mud duck is actually a foamy. It's a 3-channel plane. Flies with a 91 4-stroke. The wingspan is about 9 feet. Those are the wings. We have a small airplane under construction right there. We have the wing for the Globe Swift and an Arcus sailplane, which I never was able to get flying very well yet. The wing for the Super Sports to the body for the Bright Star. And upper wing of my Sopwith Camel. Box of motors. Carbon Cub box. Flytech Dragonfly. There's a B-17 down underneath there, and a Spitfire down there. There's the Dragonfly, if you can see it. Needs a new battery, but it's a pretty cool plane, doesn't it? I mean, it's a flapping wing job. Out of the room and back into the hallway, we come into what is my living room kitchen. Entertainment center. And that is a Hobby People UT spy plane. It's been crashed and repaired. More box planes, Cessna 182, another Carbon Cub. I only have one Carbon Cub. That's actually a Hobby Zone Champ. I also have a Night Vapor, which is outside right now in the car. Hanging over there, my Cessna 150. That's the E-Flight giant scale. It's a Carbon Cessna, sister ship to the Carbon Cub, which I do not have. Hanging there is my Seawind. Seawind is a gorgeous plane that I always wanted, but never could bring myself to spend the money on until Tower Hobby sent me an email right before Christmas. And that email offered that plane for $149, $10 discount, and free shipping. And now it's here. I maidened it on Christmas Eve, and it flies very nicely. That's also a Tower Hobby's job, the Mustang. It's in a beautiful Miss America covering. It is a foamy, and I bought the retractables for it. Okay, you can see in the background the kitchen half. But before we go there, hanging up on the ceiling here is my Sopwith Camel in front. And around back, my Hangar 9 Fokker D7. These are giant scale by virtue of the biplane rule, but they're 4-man's giant scale. They're 60 glow, and I can afford them. Now we're going to move over towards the other part of the kitchen, living room. First plane we come to is this F-16, which I won in Binghamton and put together and tested, but never flew. It's been sitting there for I don't know how many years. On the table, that's my newest plane. It's a Timber in a 1.5 size, and I'm working on a spare set of wings. I bought a spare set of wings because I wanted to put slats on one set and flaps and no slats on the other set. So I bought the wings and all the servos and everything to install them, and it's going to be a pain in my butt. There's a cool looking little sailplane up there with a V-tail. I was given that as a gift. I had it out once. I couldn't get it to fly very well. That there is the Great Plains PBY. The fiberglass fuselage, wood wing, it's electric. Flies quite nicely, although I did let the smoke out of the speed controls once and had a hard crash. I glued the pieces back together and it still flies. I liked it so much that when Tower was selling them cheaply, I bought a spare. Last year I went to Toledo, Ohio, drove out from New York with some friends, and although I didn't plan to buy any airplanes since I have enough airplanes, this little guy was priced right and caught my eye. It's obviously a knockoff of the Clancy B-line. It's foam, came plug and play, so I put a receiver in it and a battery, and it flies very nicely. The funny part is that they manufactured this airplane with ailerons, and those ailerons are useless. I disconnected them. I connected the rudder to the aileron channel and now fly it as a 3-channel, and it flies way better than it ever did before. My washer and dryer over here also doubles as my battery charging station. You know, non-flammable surface. And now we're going to leave the living room and go towards the ostensible workshop. Into the back. And the first plane we come to on the left here is a Nexstar. I bought this plane by accident, but I've made do with it, and I've come to make my peace with it, and I've flown it once or twice. This is a Hobby People Megatech Super Cub. It was an 81-inch wingspan, and it was my very first giant scale electric plane. And I think it's still my only giant scale electric plane. Oh no, that's not true. The Antonov counts, and that's electric as well. There's shells over there. There's wings there. The bigger wing, that's the Nexstar wing. And the small wing there is one of the timber wings. The other timber wing is over here. You see the slat? Not a slot, it's a slat. And I'm using this wing to see how to install the servos. They're in there. You can't even hardly see them because they're underneath a plastic piece. It's a pretty nice setup, but it's going to be fun putting it in. Those are the floats that came with the timber. And there's a B-29 down there. The little foam job was sold as a differential thrust type airplane, and I converted the tail to control surfaces, put a couple of servos right there in the back, and I fly it as a 3-channel now, and it flies pretty good. I haven't flown the Super Cub in a while because the last time I flew it, I kind of cartwheeled it when I goofed up the takeoff and busted up the wingtips. The wingtips have been repaired, but I haven't gotten around to covering them up yet. I don't have any red covering for them, so I'm going to use blue. When we turn around, I've got 2 workbenches over here. This is a little kit-built model, which I built one with a friend who built one also. We sat side by side. His flew and mine didn't. He built his with standard servos and a pusher prop, and I used scavenged linear servos and an electric ducted fan from the little Habu that Electrifly used to make and sell. It has a nice boat. It's a model of a Chris Craft called the Lydia. I think it's written on the back actually. Yep, it says Lydia back there, and it's the actual model of a modeler from Bridgeport, Connecticut as a superstructure, who has passed away, and I inherited it basically by virtue of my friendship with him. And that's about it for all of the basically ready to fly models. But I also have quite a few kits. That there is an ARF Super Decathlon or Decathlon waiting to be assembled. On the bottom is my spare PBY. Next one up is a GWS C-47. Yep, there's a picture of it. I'm not sure what's in here. Spare wing. There's a Carl Goldberg high thrust Viking. That there, A&A Industries, that's a kit for a decathlon or something like that. Down below, there's a Laker amphibian from Balsa, USA, and I'm not even sure what's in the box on top of that. I don't remember showing you that eagle that was hanging on the wall in the living room. If you were looking, you might have seen it. There's a kit here, North Star, Balsa, USA, an F-15 Eagle. That's a Great Plains kit, if I'm not mistaken. And they're waiting for my attention if I ever get around to them, which is unlikely. There is a Grotner Focke-Wulf 190, another plane I bought out in Toledo. Had one very short and not very satisfying flight with it. Fortunately, there was no damage. Haven't flown it since. Then there's a few more kits in my closet over here. The big giant box, if you can see it, is a Great Plains P-60 Hawk, the big one that they manufactured. And then alongside of it, I have a Hobby Lobby Executive Jet. Another one of those, we're not paying the royalties things, because what it is it's a knockoff of the Lear 45. which was a bigger plane than the Lear 23. And I have had one or two of them already. They met their ends, but I've enjoyed them. And when I was in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, there was a guy selling that kit. I snapped it up. I think I got a pretty good deal on it. Okay, that's it. Walking back out into the living room now. Take one last look around. I'll show you my eagle. He's hanging on the wall over there. Speaking of eagles, there's eagle nests all over the United States with chicks in them I watch on the internet. Guess I like flight. Alright everybody, have a great day and a good year. And I'll see you whenever I see you. I go to a lot of events up in the Northeast, and I'm always at Warbirds over Delaware. Bye-bye.